ship departing?
I think it's a good idea if you have the time, for sure, especially if it's a European cruise.
Yeah.
Often a cruise ship that leaves out of Venice or Barcelona, you actually don't have any time to see these two beautiful cities. So I would strongly recommend that you go. One day helps you get rid of the jet lag, the second day to really explore the city, and then you're off on your cruise.
And what if your flight's delayed? You know, you may need that extra day just to be safe.
But with Transat Holidays, if we do have a flight delay and you've booked your cruise with us, we promise we'll get you to either that port of embarkation or the next available port.
Wow,
Yes.
that's awesome. Great to know. Second question, you can always upgrade your airline ticket at the airport.
Only if there's space.
Yeah, that's not a given.
Yeah, no, and
So-
that's a tricky one. At Air Transat,
That's a myth.
it is a myth. We have club class seats that there's very limited number of them, especially for Europe. They sell way in advance, like 8, 9, 10 months in advance. So don't wait. For shorter flights, sometimes they're available, but no.
Not always a guarantee. No. Okay. Number 3, keeping a scanned or photocopied version of your passport is helpful just in case you lose the original.
Yeah.
I keep one.
Do you?
I
I keep a
definitely do.
photocopy.
Yeah. I keep one at home and in my purse,
Okay.
as well as my passport.
Oh, wow.
I keep
Look
a
at-
photo of mine too,
Yeah.
just in case.
Okay, so that's a fact. We
Yep.
should be doing that. You must declare any and all food in your carry-on and luggage
When you come home,
when you come home,
yes.
as well as when you leave, or
Chocolate's fine.
okay.
Meat and cheese and produce.
If I'm carrying any kind of food,
Yeah.
if I'm going to the States, I declare it, or I just avoid taking it altogether. But I know that there are lots of families who travel with snacks for the kids, and there's some people who medically require some food. I think you're just better safe than sorry.
Yeah, full disclosure.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. And those who know me and who are watching will know exactly why I'm saying that.
Okay,
Oh,
great. So there's a
Oh,
story.
I learned. Yes.
Will we
yes.
find out one day?
We call it Applegate, but
okay.
that's all I'm going to say for
Okay.
now.
Yes.
But I err on the side of saying yes, I have something.
Okay.
It's just better
Yeah.
that you say it than not.
Yep.
Especially if you're a member of a trusted traveler program like Nexus.
Yes.
You have to declare it's a
One
must.
strike, you're out.
We actually have a phone call, ladies.
Oh,
We have a question. I think we have somebody on the line. Do we have somebody on the line? It was a question for Nicole, I believe.
Hello.
Hi.
How
Thank
you
you
doing?
for calling.
No problem. Jasmine, you're great, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
My question is, if I'm booking through Air Transat, is there an option to purchase travel insurance on their website, or should I do it on my own through someone else?
We can certainly help you. On the website, there's a telephone number where you can call in and speak to a booking agent.
Yeah.
There might be some questions they have to ask you relevant to your travel insurance, so I would suggest that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and enjoy your vacation.
You too.
Thank you so much for your call. All right, let's get to some more myths. Our fifth one. Hostels are the least expensive accommodation.
I've never gone to a hostel.
Neither have I.
Oh my gosh,
So-
I stayed in a hostel back, a long time ago again, I'm not going to say how long, when I was on if you remember these Kontiki tours.
Yes.
I did a Kontiki tour of Europe, and part of it, we went from hostels to castles to 5-star hotels to camping.
So you did
There
it
was
all.
something, did it all.
Yeah.
And the hostels,
There's some
yeah,
good,
I'm,
right? Like there's
especially in Europe, they've got good ones. I think it's dependent on the traveler and what they're looking for.
And if you're not looking to break the bank, I hear that that's the way to do Europe.
And
right?
lots of people do it.
There's lots of different ways. Like I would say, booking in advance, taking time to look at what's available to you. We have great packages where we've put together the flight, accommodations, some excursions, and because we're buying in bulk, we
Right.
can put savings in there. So it really depends on what you're looking for.
And I'd like to talk about that more,
Okay.
so we'll
All
talk
right.
about that in a bit, okay? Last minute travel is the best way to get a great deal.
Last minute travel has some advantages. If you're 100% flexible in your date, in your destination, and the hotel that you're going to stay at, I would say that ultimately your best travel option is actually early booking bonuses. So as soon as a brochure comes out to go through it, then you have access to full availability.
Okay.
And often we have even what we call our best price guarantee as part of our early booking bonuses. So even if that exact package that you purchased goes on special, later on in the year we will give you a cash refund.
Really?
So there's certain terms and conditions, of course,
Okay,
but
yeah.
by booking early, you're not losing the opportunity to get the best price.
Right.
And for airlines especially, they're advertising specials all the time. I have lots of messages every day.
Oh yes, I get the
in my
emails.
inbox,
Yeah.
and you know, you can find some great seat sales, and in a lot of cases, the carrier has a vacation package that could go along with it.
Well, you shouldn't be penalized for wanting to book early, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd rather know. I'd rather know where I'm going and
Oh.
have that marked in my
That's because you
calendar
like
and
to
ready
pack
to go.
4 times.
Yeah.
I start
You can't
months
book
in
last
advance. I have, but it's a
When
challenge.
forced,
That's
yeah.
right.
With that said, though, there are some great opportunities for last minute rates. So
Okay, great.
Next week, you said.
next week
Next
there's
week.
some great stuff. Yeah, from Ottawa.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fly Ottawa.
Okay, number 9. If one passenger is sick, everyone on the plane will get sick because the air is recycled.
Myth.
Is that's a myth?
Myth.
Okay.
Yes.
So because it's filtered, you're not. I mean, unless someone right next to you
Yes.
is very, very ill.
Absolutely. Same as if you happen to be sitting next to somebody on the bus or at a movie theater or whatever, but it
Right.
isn't, the air is better quality than what people talk about. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so that one's a myth.
Yeah.
Traveling by train in Europe is cheaper than flying.
Um,
Again, we're back to Europe.
Yes, I don't think it's really a myth. I mean, I don't really think it's true. I think that it depends. The airlines in Europe have really awesome seat sales. So I,
ultra low cost carriers
yeah,
as well.
it's like
So it's
£10 sometimes you can
Hit or
get
miss,
somewhere.
it just
Yes,
It just
absolutely.
depends on where you're going. And
Okay.
The one thing that you have to be aware of, though, is a lot of them have very inexpensive seats, but then you pay for everything a la carte. So baggage, which is becoming quite common, but also everything else that you might need on that flight. So you have to be very careful that you know in advance what those charges are so that you don't have surprises.
Okay, great point. Yeah. And thank you for making note of that. Yeah. So booking a package deal, does that always guarantee the best rates? Or if you do it individually, can you maybe come out with the same type of
I
pricing?
guess if you looked at that package and those exact components,
Right.
then more often than not, the value would be in the package, yes. But because if you're doing something, which in the business we call FIT, so fully independent travel, so you're piecing all the bits together yourself, there's so many variations. So instead of a 4-star hotel, you go to a 3-star. Instead of centrally located, you go outside of town a little bit. So then all of a sudden you're not comparing apples to apples. So there's so many different components, but by and large, if you're looking at that exact same itinerary, a
And
package
you like
is
everything
done.
about it, right? And
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. A one-way ticket is more expensive than booking round trip.
It used to be, but I don't find anymore it is. It used to really penalize people for one-ways or for open tickets or what we call open jaw. So if you're flying into one city and then home from a different city, there used to be surcharges or supplements on those, but not so much anymore.
And even when you book a ticket, you tend to see what the price is each way because they end up getting booked separately, even though they're on the same itinerary. So you can see exactly what those rates are, and you can play around, and even if it's a round trip, go with this time, choose a different return time based on the price.
You've got options.
Yeah.
Lots
of course.
of options.
I think people want more options now.
Yeah.
People used to be a little bit more satisfied with a 1-week or 2-week package, and now they're looking for more flexibility. So the airlines and tour operators have to respond to that need.
When we really enjoy it. We're,
Yeah.
we're grateful for that.
And it may make more sense economically to travel home on a Monday instead of a Sunday or,
Yes.
or
True,
whatever.
yes.
So if you've got that flexibility, you can really play around
Yes.
and get some good deals on the prices.
Absolutely. And if you want to avoid the highest price points, then avoid the weekend, generally speaking.
Yep. Krista, this one I think you can answer. As long as you get to the gate 15 minutes before the plane leaves, you will get on.
I'm not with an airline, but I
Okay.
know from recent experience that every airline has their own cutoff time, and airports can be different as well. The rule of thumb that I like to tell people is that for a U.S. flight, you have to be checked in an hour, 60 minutes prior to the flight, or they close the flight. So that's not the gate, that's the check-in counter. So you make sure that you're checked. If you're not checked in
60
online, for
minutes,
example,
yeah.
because they will close the flight, and that's law. And in Canada, it's 45 minutes.
It is. It's a closer period of time, and I think to your point, like it is measured. Those recommendations, it's measured for check-in.
Okay.
And then it is quite costly if somebody's checked in and their bag is on the aircraft and they're not showing up at the gate.
Definitely.
So that's when you get those reminders. Jasmine Rose, please
Yeah.
report to gate 44.
Yes,
you know,
immediately.
and immediately it's your last call,
That's
whatever.
right.
It's because the airline doesn't want to go through that trouble. Really, there's a lot of cost involved and disruption for a whole service to find your bag and get it off the aircraft, because of course we can't take off with a bag and not a passenger that matches.
That's right.
Yeah.
So do your research and find out wherever you're flying to, find out the cutoff time and get there.
Get to the gate.
Get to the gate.
I connected recently there. I was connecting through an airport in the States coming home from a conference, and ran like heck because the flight was delayed getting there, and got to the gate, the connection gate, and they had closed the flight. The plane was still sitting there, but they had closed the flight. And and it happened to be Super Bowl weekend in Phoenix.
Oh, darn.
So finding an alternate flight was really, really hard. So
Sure.
that's why I say nothing is a given. And the airlines are measured on on-time departures, and so they want to do everything that they can to make
leave.
sure that they are off the gate at the required time, so that their statistics are kept intact. So again, I'm not an airline person. I don't want to speak on their behalf, but
It's great information. Yeah.
you really should check and see what the policy is with the carrier that you're traveling with, and make sure that you stay within those guidelines so that you're not disappointed.
And avoid the stress. Get there, relax. You know, don't put that on yourself.
Definitely. All right. To expedite boarding, you should line up as soon as priority boarding starts.
Only if you're a priority passenger.
So no.
No.
Yeah.
We actually have some different classes of service. So we have economy class, and then we offer what we refer to as option plus. So it gives you some extras like priority check-in, priority baggage handling, extra luggage, different things like that. And then we have our club class. So what traditionally a regular airline might call a premium, not that we're not a regular airline, that's a poor choice of word, but other airlines might call an upgraded class of service. And that is our priority check-in. And of course, anybody who needs assistance and people traveling with families. And it's really to their benefit. So I think if you're not in that bucket, sit back and wait your turn.
Well, thank you for busting those myths, ladies. We're going to talk must-have travel items when we return.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Ottawa Experts. Before the break, we were busting some myths. Now let's get into must-have items. I want you each to tell me, what is your must-have item when traveling? I'm going to say that mine is hand sanitizer. I need to have my sanitizer because that's just me. Like it's my go-to when I'm eating on the plane or after I touch something. I'm OCD like that. Nicole?
What's wrong with that?
I think my smartphone and a charger is my go-to item, and I like now that you can buy an extra battery pack or a little thing that you charge up. So if your cell phone dies and you don't have a
Those are very
charger,
popular.
yes.
Yeah, the extra
I have a
charger.
little one at home. I travel a lot, so it's my way to keep in touch. So that's my must-have.
Krista, your
oh boy.
must-have travel item.
Oh, I don't go anywhere without my phone. It's right beside me, as you can tell. Earbuds, so that you can listen to your music or hook into the entertainment system with the airline. And you talk about your hand sanitizer, that goes everywhere as well. But when I travel, I take oil of oregano with me. And again, my girlfriends are going to laugh. Because if I start to feel like, you know, somebody is sick in the, or
yeah,
whatever.
we were talking about that,
you know, just feeling any kind of little travel issue, I just take a little hit of oil